Art Elite Training Academy is one of the finest sports performance facilities in the Southwest. How did we get there? Through great guys like Randy Williams. This is part 2 of his story. After nearly 2 years of work, Randy made the UNM football team. It was a great accomplishment to walk on and make the team. Now he wanted to play. During playtime, Randy knew he had to get even better. So he stuck with what he knew. He came back and worked with us, and we worked late into the night, even after his practices with the Lobos. Randy had grown and changed a lot over the last 2 years, and in fact he had a late growth spurt. He shot up to nearly 6'4", and his weight was heading back to 260. That year we got access to the indoor track. It was nice to work inside for a change. We put Randy right back to work. We needed him even stronger, even faster, even quicker. We had to come up with new things to make him better, create new things, and that we did. And as Randy grew, so did our crew. I added another son to the workout group. We picked up a couple other athletes, even an NFL free agent. The athletes came from all kinds of sports and all levels, college, high school, football, track, wrestling, basketball. They came and we worked and we had fun.
I thought you weren't no sprinter, man. The sprinter move. Good. He's a hurdler. He's a thrower. He won't play football. He won't play football. For what? Why not, man? You talk to him. I'm done. I told him I was done picking on him. There you go. Get on that toe, Ethan. Get that rhythm.
We changed things up for Randy, but more importantly, he changed things with us. I began to think differently, how athletes were trained and how much better they could be trained in New Mexico if we were to open a facility and start training athletes, a special place for athletes. One of the new things we worked with Randy is we started sending him to yoga. He started to work his flexibility. It had a whole new level to his game. His movements became more fluid and quicker. Old drills, new drills, what mattered was it worked. All of these athletes ended up playing in college. Again, I was relentless. I worked them harder than I believed they can handle. I took them right to their very limits, but they worked and they responded, and the work showed in everything that they did. All I could see, though, was a change needed to occur. There was so much more that could be done. Working with Randy at the indoor track changed everything. I began to see we needed to have our own facility where we could control the weights, the movement, the agility, everything to make the best. By spring workouts that year, Randy was gaining more attention. Even the newspaper noticed how hard the walk-on was working and how much attention he was receiving with what he was doing. Head coach Bob Davey for the Lobos mentioned in the article how much Randy had changed over the winter break. With his speed, his strength, his vertical, everything was changing quickly. Randy emerged from spring ball at second string. He was fighting for the starting spot. Everything was changing. Randy got more. He wanted more. He wanted to start, and he wanted a scholarship. Two things I have to tell you about Randy. Randy is different. Where I grew up, an athlete was fighting for a scholarship because that was his only way out. That was the way he got out of the hood, and a scholarship was the only thing to make a difference. Randy was even more special than that, if that sounds possible to you, because he fought for being the best. That's what he was about. He wanted to make himself as good as he possibly could be because that is who he was. That's what's different about Randy. He pushed himself beyond it, beyond all the limits that others would create. He pushed himself beyond. That's what fired me up. And when I see this little fire guy on my chest, that I think of Randy, because he had fire, he had passion, he had burning. And so when we came up with this notion of, hey, let's create a training facility for athletes, ardor was what it was about. It was about fire. It was about passion. That was Randy. He had that fire. He had that passion. And when he was fighting to get on that field, and he was fighting for that starting spot and for that scholarship, he created a burn in us to create a facility that would cater to that type of athlete. Those with passion, those with fire. So we had to bring it all under one roof. We had to create a place. It was for guys like Randy out there training in those fields in the dark and in the snow. We had to change that. So we brought it all inside. Weights, turf for agility. We have yoga, Pilates, whatever we needed, whatever our athletes needed, we brought it all together. And when Randy came back for that last season, that summer before that last season, we had the place ready for him. And boy, did Randy take full advantage of everything that he got. It was awesome. We did find a place of our own. And as we moved in, there was Randy, T-Mac, and Mike there to help us. And of course, Randy began to find new ways to push himself.
Oh, I like that. It always does.
So it began all again. We looked at everything differently. We looked at the weights and the resistance training in a totally different manner. Development of speed, development of power, development of explosiveness. That's what we worked on. And with those new changes, Randy changed even more. It sounds almost unbelievable that this guy could transform himself and keep transforming himself. His quickness went off the charts. His strength went off the charts. But he became more explosive, more powerful. And we took that explosion and that power and transferred it to the field where he could move even better than before. Randy was a beast. He was some kind of animal. He was in pursuit of a dream. He would not be daunted. He would not be stopped. He couldn't be stopped. He refused to let anything slow him down. He just kept working. It was incredible. You should have seen it. He was unbelievable. Yes, he got better and quicker, but more importantly, he inspired other athletes to get better, quicker, stronger, faster. It was like this epidemic of creativity. Watch Randy.
Nice.
The results, they were already written on the wall. Randy impressed the coaches, and they offered him a scholarship. He had rewritten his story all over again. Randy became somewhat of a local hero. A local boy walks on, makes the team, excels, gets a scholarship. He started to represent what we were all about. I can still remember when they interviewed Randy on the radio on the Lobo show, and I loved hearing him talk about his passion, football, how hard he worked, what was important to him. Ultimately, they named Randy Mr. New Mexico. I was excited to be invited to that game to watch him run out of that tunnel, representing all the hard work and effort he had put in. Later that year, Randy received his Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. It was another huge accomplishment for Randy. Everything paid off. What's Randy up to now? He's doing his thing. He's out there. He's working out. Looks great. He's doing his career. It's nice to see and hear from him. Randy is a shining example. When someone tells you can't do something, you look him in the eye and tell him, yes, you can. You can be who you want to be. And for me, Randy will always be Mr. New Mexico, number 96 on my wall, on the field, and in my heart. Thank you, Randy.